guys? Welcome back to my channel. I am really excited to make this video and share it with you guys. I am going to be talking about travel nursing. So I have been a nurse for 5 years now. Actually, I think it's been a little bit longer than 5 years, but I always just say that it's been 5 years. And I've been a travel nurse now for 7 months. I took the leap of faith into travel nursing in July of 2019 and I haven't looked back. I absolutely love this lifestyle. And I kind of just wanted to share my experience with you guys. I do get a lot of questions, like whenever I post stuff on Instagram about travel nurse stuff, like why did I leave my hospital, how did I get started, like what is travel nursing. So I thought I'd just make a video to explain and answer all of those questions. So here we go. So a little bit of background story on me, just to kind of give you guys an overall idea of my nursing career and how I've kind of maneuvered myself into where I'm at right now. I have been a nurse for 5 whole years. 4 years of the 5 years is in emergency nursing. So as soon as I graduated from nursing school, I actually applied to a residency program at the University of New Mexico Hospital. I got into that residency, and what they do is they put you on 2 floors to kind of prepare you for your specialty of your choice or whatever they have available during that time. So emergency department, ICU, NICU, anything pediatrics or geriatrics or psych. You can go into any of those specialties, so it kind of just helps prepare you into the process of your specialty. I worked at a level 1 trauma center, the only level 1 trauma center in New Mexico, so the only real way to get into that emergency department was to actually go through the residency program or get experience outside of the hospital and then apply. So I worked on an orthopedic floor and a general medicine floor for a year, a little over a year altogether, with my transition down into the emergency department. So I belonged to the nurse residency program. I didn't belong to necessarily any of those units that I worked on. So let's talk a little bit about what a travel nurse actually is and what they do. So you can be an LPN or an RN who is contracted through an agency or a hospital that needs you for a short period of time to maybe fill the need. So there has to be an actual need at that hospital for the actual travel nurse to fill. So it could mean that there's a lot of people going on maternity leave, maybe there's like a mass exodus of people going off to do something else, or maybe there's some kind of like nursing strike that's going on. Most of the contracts are 13 weeks, so I just like to say 3 months. I've seen some as short as 1 week for strike pay nurses. I've seen 6 weeks, 4 weeks, even 2 weeks. It really just depends on what the need is at that hospital. So there's a lot of opportunity for jobs. It's just kind of what you want out of travel nursing, and we'll kind of go over that here in a little bit. So a lot of people ask me why I started travel nursing. So for those of you who do follow this channel, you know that I do travel quite a bit in general, and mostly internationally. That is my passion, that's my love. I just absolutely love international travel. I love exploring the world and seeing things from a different point of view and cultures and food, and I can go on and on and on about this subject. So I had actually discovered travel nursing through travelers that came through my hospital. I had actually never really known that travel nursing existed until then. So I got to know a couple of the travelers. We had a lot of like things in common, and I was like, you know what, this is really, I think, something that I want to do. So I really wanted to not have to take so much PTO in between, or PTO while I was working permanent at my hospital. So I did a lot of research and found out you can take up as much time as you want in between contracts. Like, you don't have to do like back-to-back contracts. You can actually take like a contract, take 4 months off, take 1 month off, take a week off in between contracts. So it's really up to you. I know a lot of other nurses do it for a plethora of reasons. Financial debt. People have gotten themselves out of, student loans, which thankfully I don't have. There's so many different reasons you can travel. There's resume builders, again, financial freedom, traveling, obviously. I did a couple of years of planning, and through a lot of anxiety and a lot of planning, let me tell you, and a lot of times of me telling myself, oh, you're not good enough, oh, you don't have enough skills yet, you don't have enough experience yet, you're gonna fail, yada, 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 all that negative self-talk. Thank God that was like, it was a really stressful time in my life, let me tell you. I would wake up every single day being like, am I making the right choice? Like, after I signed my contract, I'm like, am I making the right choice? I'm like literally leaving my home of 26 years. Like, it was very scary. And for those of you who are taking a leap of faith, like, it is scary, but it's absolutely worth it. I will say that travel nursing is not for everyone, but I think that everyone should just try it once. And, you know, it's true that, like, everything is on the other side of your comfort zone, like adventure and excitement and finding, you know, not, I wouldn't say finding yourself, but finding parts about you that you really have never seen before and you're not used to, and it's really uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable feeling, but when you come out on the other side of it, you're like, whoa, like, I have changed so much. From, like, even like the first 13-week contract that I did, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I survived this, I can do this. So currently I am on technically my second assignment. I started at John Muir Walnut Creek in the East Bay of the Bay Area. I really wanted a contract out in the Bay Area just because of that money and those safe people nurse to patient ratios, which is 4:1 in the emergency department, and you actually get mandatory breaks, which I'm a little spoiled now, because if I ever travel to another state and they don't give me a break, which is gonna happen, let's just be honest, I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be sad because I know what a safe nursing practice looks like, and I would almost say that California is like the golden standard for what nursing should look like in terms of patient ratios and having those mandatory breaks. Some people were asking me how I'm able to practice in California. So through my New Mexico license, it's a compact license, and what that means is my New Mexico license holds in several different states throughout the United States. However, there are a select few states that you actually have to apply for a nursing license, so California being one of them. And let me tell you, it was quite expensive, but most agencies actually reimburse you for your application or the fee for the license. So most of the time you're really not paying anything, which is great, because again, that's like the whole point of travel nursing, is to be able to get those expenses covered. But either way, it's amazing to be able to work in a different state and kind of just see how nursing is different compared to, you know, where you probably did most of your preliminary nursing work. Something to note is having a decent amount of experience in your specialty before you even think about travel nursing. Me personally, I wouldn't want someone who's had less than a year of experience in their specialty, unless it was like a really, really intense hospital, like a crazy level 1 where you just were like constantly learning and constantly just like, you know, taking care of really sick patients. What I recommend and what most people kind of suggest is 2 years in your specialty. And again, I had 4 years in emergency medicine and 5 years as a nurse before I jumped into it. But I do know other people who have done like just a year of med surg or just a year of ER before they actually, or a year of ICU just before they jumped into travel nursing, which there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I'm not trying to tell people how to like live their lives, but me personally, I would just want someone who was a little bit more experienced in their specialty. And like I said, they do suggest 2 years, but the more the better, obviously. So let's talk a little bit about agencies. So I did quite a bit of research on agencies before I really decided to stick with who I'm with right now. And if you guys want to know who I'm with, go ahead and like comment or ask in the comment section, and I'll be able to, you know, shoot you a quick email. I actually don't even mind talking about pay. I think it's really important for people to know what a good pay package looks like versus a crappy pay package. I want travel nurses, especially now in like it's becoming a more popular thing to do, I don't want nurses to get horrible pay packages because they don't know the information or they don't know what to really expect out of these pay packages or what they should look like. So for agencies, when you're trying to find an actual recruiter in an agency, there's thousands. And let me tell you, it was really overwhelming in the beginning to kind of find like what fit me. And I think that that's really important when you're trying to find a recruiter in an agency. Number one, when you're trying to find your agency, go with an agency that fits your lifestyle needs and fits your needs overall. Why are you doing this? For the money, for resume builder, for travel, like what do you want? And associated with that, it's actually what's more important is finding a recruiter you trust, for me anyways, who's super transparent, because I'm very like, I like to be open. I want people to be like, yo, this is what's going on, this is why they're paying this much, or this is why they're in need. So I can go in with like an already, you know, set mentality of, okay, I'm here to do my job, or I'm here to, you know, help the the floor that I'm going to be working on. So I think that everyone should have at least 3 agencies under their belt. And what I mean by that is you can compare pay packages. So a large agency that I'm with right now may offer this pay package, and the smaller agency may offer this pay package. And the smaller agencies, usually it depends on which one you are looking at, but they'll offer a really high pay package, and you're like, whoa. And it's usually because the bigger agency, number one, they're trying to get that money. I'm just gonna straight up say it. They're trying to get that money, and on top of that, they are paying a lot of overhead people. So billing, financial, the recruiter, all these other middlemen that are helping run the process of the actual agency itself. So I get it, but I know what I deserve, and I know what I want to get paid, and I know what I deserve to get paid. So when you find an agency and a recruiter that you really like, what happens is you build a profile with these agencies. So it's usually like how much nursing experience you have, what kind of credentials you have, which are also really important. So like CEN, TNCC, ACLS, BLS, PALS, all those kinds of extra certifications and other licenses you may have on top of that all kind of build up your resume for hospitals. Because although travel nursing is lucrative, it is very competitive as well. Like you and maybe 20 other nurses are competing for this one spot at this hospital. So it kind of depends on like where you're applying for, and it's just like one big lottery sometimes. So for me personally, when I first started my contract, I picked an agency that had an exclusive contract with the hospital. So it was almost kind of like an immediate in, so I can just get my feet wet, so I can be like, hey, like for my next assignment, hey, I already have one contract under my belt. These people recommended me. They asked me to actually stay permanent staff, which they really did, at their hospital, which looks really good, right? And when they call your recommendations, you want to make sure you have good recommendations. So you do actually go through an interview process, which I've only actually interviewed with one hospital, and it wasn't John Muir that I worked at, and it wasn't San Francisco General that I work at now. Is actually a contract in Oroville. I haven't really had an experience with interviewing over the phone. Sometimes they do Skype and stuff like that, so I haven't had that experience, and I'm sure I'll run into it, obviously. But for me, it's been like a pretty smooth transition in terms of like getting a job. So the jobs are there, it's all about what you want, your flexibility. And I think for your first contract, it is super important, you guys, first contract, to be flexible. And I'm not saying take the trash assignment, obviously that's never what I'm saying, but just being flexible and being able to like, you're not going to get Hawaii and you're not going to get amazing pay in Hawaii. Like, let's be realistic. You have to be realistic for your first contract. Like, okay, California, I'm getting paid a really good amount of money, and okay, this is my first contract, just get my feet wet, and so on and so forth. And then the next assignment, you kind of say, okay, these are the things that I learned from my first assignment, and now this is what I want, and this is what I know I deserve. So that's my advice to you guys. For those of you who are in the process of, you know, getting started with travel nursing, you've already signed the contract, and I just want you guys to know that, like, it is scary stepping outside of your comfort zone. And just like, that's just with like anything, right? That's with starting a new job, getting into a new relationship, maybe having a child. Like, anything with a big transition is going to be scary, but I will tell you that it grows you so much as a person. And I'm talking about travel nursing now, as a nurse, just in your career, just like everything. And it really is what you make of it. Just as in everything in life, it is what you make of it. It's totally dependent on like what you want from it, as I've explained before. So I just think it's really important to ask yourself why you want to do it, and number 2, just like go into it with an open mind, because anything can happen. You could find the hospital of your dream, you could find the place that you want to live for the rest of your life, depending on how old you are, or even if you're just trying to find a new location to hang out. I will say that it is not for everyone. If you don't like moving every 13 weeks, if you aren't super adaptable or flexible, if you don't really have like an open mind, I would almost say, it's going to be kind of hard for you to adjust to travel nursing. And I think over time, you do just get used to it. Like in the beginning, I felt like myself struggling with trying to accept the fact that like, you're not at home anymore. This is not your hospital. These are not your people. Like, you need to adapt, and you need to be okay with the fact that like change is constant. And I think a lot of people fight that in their lives in general, and I'm not talking just strictly about travel nursing, but they fight the change in general. And once you start to change your mindset and change your perspective, like that's easy for some people and it's really difficult for others. So if you really don't like being flexible or open-minded or adaptable, and I don't really think travel nursing is for you, but I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I think most people should try, most nurses should try travel nursing to see if they really like it. And if they don't, guess what? Your hospital's waiting for you back home. You can just go right back to where you were at your hospital. Don't worry. If you guys have questions, please comment below. Please hit that subscribe button. I am going to start making a lot more travel nurse content. I'm going to try at least post once a month. That's what I'm giving myself for a time frame of. I do want to start putting more content out there. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I do actually post quite a bit of stuff on Instagram. Oh, I'll leave my handle below here. And I have met so many amazing people through this experience. In the beginning, it was a little hard because I was trying to I was basically sad because I left my house. I was being a little dramatic now in retrospect and didn't want to leave my house. And now I'm getting out there and getting to know people. I go to a lot of travel nurse meetups, which are held by several agencies, and just in general, Facebook and social media has been amazing in finding other travel nurses and seeing, hashtag travel nurse or geotags of certain locations that you're in and saying, oh my gosh, there's another travel nurse in this area, let's link up, sending them a message saying hey, I'm out here, let's meet up. Because the travel nurse community surprisingly isn't that big. It is and it isn't. It's just a great community of a lot of like-minded individuals who love travel, who love nursing, and who are in it for the adventure and in it for a lot of different reasons. And I am excited to start sharing this stuff with you guys. So please like and subscribe to my channel if you want to continue to see content like this. And if you have any questions or want a video on something specific, please leave it down below. I'm happy to reach out, or I'm happy to make the videos on those things. So I love you guys, and thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. I know I'm not as consistent as I'd like to be, so happy travels and have a great day.